Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the North Node in Virgo transit. And the North Node will enter Virgo on November 12, 2015 and will reside there until May 9th of 2017. And I'm going to be talking about its possible impact on the signs Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. And it is Western astrology, and yes, it pertains to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. So let me get started. The first thing is, as far as Aries goes, I think the thing to look at is perhaps it could be the development of more scrupulous work habits, emphasizing employment and the service to others, and being, as far as health goes, it might be something where the North Node in transit can often indicate like a mini mission, I guess you could say, for that period. It traverses that particular sector of one's horoscope. So this mission may be perhaps to improve the physical body to some degree, well, as far as making the body healthier, and might be something to look at as far as Aries goes. Now, the thing to avoid is perhaps tumult and chaos in the person's private life, which could be the result of the South Node in Pisces emphasizing the 12th house. So those are some things to consider as far as the North Node in Virgo, as far as Aries goes. Now, we look at Taurus. Now, Taurus, the North Node in Virgo is going to emphasize the 5th house, so there may be a focus on intellectual or analytical enjoyment and pleasure, and maybe instilling maybe a stronger work habit as far as children goes, if applicable, if the person has children. And the thing to avoid as far as the negativity of perhaps the South Node in Pisces, which would emphasize the 11th house, could be perhaps deceptive friends or acquaintances, and pursuing maybe friends that might be unrealistic and might not be really, and may work to this person's detriment. So it's important. And also in pursuing goals that might not be realistic. And it's just maybe it's important to take the positive South Node Pisces energy, such as idealism, and incorporate it into their enjoyment and into their lives. So that's what I see as far as Taurus goes. Now for Gemini, the 4th house is what's going to be emphasized, and this could be something where this person may be developing maybe more work habits around their own home, around their family, being more service perhaps to their family members. There might be some things connected with renovation or restoration in the home that they may have to be working laboriously on, and this could be as far as the development qualities may go, and pertaining to things connected with the home and family, and perhaps even working hard on perhaps things that are associated with their emotional security as well, and paying attention to the fine details and things that are connected with family members and their home. Now, as far as things to avoid as far as the South Node in Pisces goes, well, this could be unrealistic career ambitions, could be one thing, and maybe worrying maybe about the public image, and thinking about maybe fantasizing about these things, and trying and not really focusing on the North Node in Virgo as far as that 4th house emphasis goes. And I think those are some things to look at, and also be wary of perhaps even maybe deceptive supervisors, because authority figures are over the 10th house as well. So now for Cancer, well, Cancer, I think one thing to look at is maybe more of a focus on analytical, perhaps communication in general. Maybe it may involve constructive criticism with siblings if the person has brothers or sisters. Those are some things perhaps to look at, and it could be the development of more communication in terms in their own neighborhood. Now, the thing to maybe avoid is perhaps the South Node and Pisces emphasizing Cancer's 9th house would be maybe confounding philosophies or perhaps even religious views that might be confusing, or may not, or might be some deception involved in them. Those are, and also perhaps fantasizing or daydreaming regarding maybe going on these long journeys that might not be realistic or productive, and it's more focusing on the more realistic journeys in their own general neighborhood, in their own local environment. So I think those are some things to look at as far as the zodiac sign Cancer goes. Now for the zodiac sign Leo, well, for Leo, I think it's being more punctilious with details regarding monetary matters, and looking at the values, the self-esteem, working vigorously on doing things in association with that, and having their realistic values, and working hard on the self-esteem issues if there is some. Everybody has need for improvement in areas like that, and even Leos as well. So those are some things to consider. And thing to avoid is perhaps looking for a maybe excessive amount maybe of compassion as far as maybe from moral support and monetary support, just general support in general, which is the South Node in Pisces and the 8th house emphasized negative. Those are some things, and not guard against becoming overly dependent on this, and this might not be realistic. And it's more about taking matters as far as you're generating your own income, and not be so dependent maybe on the others' resources, whether it could be a sexual partner or otherwise, and really work hard and work laboriously on generating the income for yourself, because it may be unrealistic to look at the others' resources as far as support goes. Now, the next sign to talk about is Virgo. Now, with Virgo, the North Node in Virgo transit obviously is emphasizing the 1st house. So this could be something where this person may work hard as far as the development of the physical body, becoming maybe more vigorous, stronger. It could be a new workout routine. It could be something where this person is scrupulously looking into their, I guess, more scrupulous attention to their outlook on life, paying strong attention to the details connected with their outer demeanor. Perhaps that would be if Virgo is rising, of course. And it could be something where it's more about the taking the South Node in Pisces would be emphasizing the 7th house in this case. So it's about maybe not worrying so much about the other people and partnerships, relationships, about all this the negative cause in this case could be maybe an excessive amount of maybe self-sacrifice connected with others, where the physical body and maybe the own self, the own needs might be lacking. And this is the time for Virgo to put more emphasis on his or herself and taking care of their own personal needs, and maybe putting the others to the side, at least for a little bit. And as this could be maybe to the detriment of the person if they put too much emphasis on the others and deluding themselves. That Pisces delusion, that doing all this for others is going to just make their own lives better, where the emphasis should be on during this period should be more on themselves and as far as their own personal needs go. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the North Node in Virgo transit for 2015 to 2017, Part 2. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the North Node in Virgo transit, Part 3. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.